Yeah, I think it is. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Yep, it's 9. And it's Wednesday, the 31st of July, AD 2024. Happy White History Month, everybody. 9:01 a.m. here now. And I'm going to have a guest today with me. Crishaun the Don of Misfit Nation. It is the last day of White History Month, guys. Waiting for Hank, waiting for Hank, waiting for Hank. And he's waiting for you. So let me set up my IG, by the way, while I'm talking. What I'd like to talk with Crishaun about today is, I know that a lot of you guys are wanting to call in. Some of you guys are probably sick of it, don't want to hear about it. But the young lady who I say got herself shot, he sent me a video that is sort of interesting. And I may play it. It's a little rough towards the end, and maybe I'll skip that part. But, you know, at least the bleeps, I mean, the cussing is not shown. So I may show you guys the video sort of leading up to it, because I hadn't seen it. But he sent it to me, and I decided, hey, maybe I'll show this to you guys. So we'll also talk about beautiful White History Month. This is the last day, so we got to do it. Crishaun the Don of Misfit Nation will be joining me here, guys. But anyway, let's just get right on, guys. What do you think with the show? Oh, yeah, white guys for Hillary. I mean, Kamala.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report.
White dudes.
The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? Thank you, Nick, the anchor baby. My training wheels. How you guys doing? I'm fine. Wearing a nice orange Henley. Well, it's orange, and it's what I learned from the late, great... No, I'm kidding. He's not late. He's not dead. But Hassan, my former board operator, was that this is called a Henley because it has buttons, but it doesn't have this folding collar stuff, which is handy. It's kind of fun. Nice. I like it anyway. How you guys doing? I'm fine. I have with me Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. Crishaun, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think I can hear you, and it's coming out okay. Press 1 if you guys can hear him. Press 2 if you don't. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Always, always.
With your MAGA hat.
Yes.
So, tell the people how to find you before we get going here. It's Misfit Nation podcast, Misfit Nation on YouTube. And where else do they find you? I know you're on Podbean and other platforms.
Yes, I'm on Podbean, misfitnation.podbean.com. Pretty much more or less anywhere you can find podcasts, audio versions of podcasts, you can find us. Just type in Misfit Nation, you'll find us there. Also, Hake, you've actually convinced me to get a buy me a coffee, so you can
nice.
Buy us a coffee over at buy me a coffee at Misfit Nation over there if you want to show some support. I don't try to guilt people into it. I don't try to, tell people, hey, we're gonna. It depends on our survival.
Right.
Just, if you can, if you want to, we appreciate it.
Nice, man.
Yeah. Also, shop misfitnation.com. You can grab some shirts.
Sweet. America's most dangerous.
America's most dangerous podcast. America's most dangerous merch.
Sweet. Right on, man.
Shop misfitnation.com.
So you guys are quite familiar with Crishaun the Don. As JLP said, he always brings the heat. Some of you guys don't like him because he said the N word sometimes. And he showed his heat He showed his heat, his Second Amendment, and some other stuff. I don't know. Who knows what?
By the way, I've always had this gun behind me. That's real.
The
So
AR
like,
type thing.
I hope it doesn't trigger anybody. Yeah, my AR style rifle.
Yeah. So let's get into this story. I believe that did you want to start off with this? We're going to talk about White History Month, guys. We're going to talk about the lady who got herself shot. And we will also touch on the white dudes for Harris, I think is what the official name was, or what they called it. What would you like to start off with this morning here?
We could start off with the Sonya Massey.
Okay. Yeah, let's
story.
get that out of the way. I know that you guys can also call in. And some of you guys are already on hold, and we will get to your calls. Appreciate that. But okay. Sonya Massey, you told me, and you sent me this clip. Do you want me to show this clip while you're presenting your take on this?
Well, we could play the beginning of it, but I think there's some context that I think I'd like to touch on first, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. So basically, where I stand on this whole thing is that I don't believe that the shooting was justified.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I'm going to preface this, and I usually don't do disclaimers, but I'm only doing this because I'm going to point out that I guarantee you somebody's going to claim that I made this claim.
Right.
I don't believe the cops were racist. I'm not saying that. I don't believe this is a bigger, an example of a bigger problem going on and all that type of stuff. I think this is definitely an isolated situation. These are just these people's decisions. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's where I'm coming from. I'm just saying I don't think the shooting itself was justified because I don't think throwing a boiling pot of water is a reasonable threat to their lives. Now, it's a reasonable threat of injury.
Great bodily harm.
Yeah, I'm not going to belittle the possible injury, but honestly, the injury itself it isn't life-threatening. And we can get into the specifics of that. But I do want to just say this, too, because I was debating with some of your people in the chat there, and I was debating that she didn't actually throw the pot of water. But then the second angle came out, and it shows that she did. So I'm going to admit that I was wrong that she didn't.
Oh, okay. So because Big Bump was saying that she seems to throw it, too. And I was still like, I don't know. I know that she picked it up again, which was odd.
She picked it up again. The reason why I say she threw it is because the water ended up splashing in front of the cops. You can literally see it steaming right in front of them.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, she could have just threw it as she was being shot. I honestly, that's a little unclear as well because we see it in a quick frame that she does have it again in her hand.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's, being thrown forward.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to correct that I was wrong on that. However, I still don't think that changes the fact that it's not a reasonable threat of death. It's not a reasonable threat to their lives.
What about great bodily harm? Isn't that kind of included in the a reasonable threat? Reasonable.
Well, boiling water doesn't create really great bodily harm in the sense of for it to warrant a response, a deadly response is what I'm saying. Okay. If they were to tackle her down and rough her up and do something like that, I wouldn't have a problem with that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The point is that really they didn't get hit with the boiling water because they took a step back while they shot. So really they just had to take a step back, and once the boiling pot of water is thrown, she's not going to reload a boiling pot of water within seconds and throw it again. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just talking about the situation and what's reasonable and what's not.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if boiling water can only be fatal under certain circumstances, like if you were to submerge somebody into a boiling pot of water, like a big cauldron or something like that, if you drank boiling water, that could kill you.
Right.
And also if it was prolonged contact or let's say you had like a shower of boiling water just beating on you for a long period of time, that could kill you. So none of those things are none of those things are reasonable that would have happened to that cop. Also, the other thing that sorry, let me just add this. The other thing that can kill you with boiling water is if you get burned and the burns go untreated. So if you were to say that you believe that the cop was going to go without the burns being treated, then I feel like that's kind of unreasonable as well. So what were you going to say though? Sorry.
I was going to say that I looked online about how hot water has to be to scald you and burn you. And it has to be like 140 degrees, which is well below the 214 or whatever that's boiling. And even at that temperature, it can require surgery, depending on how long it's on you, I guess. I don't know how, because it's just water. It's not like it's oil that stays on you and stays hot.
Right.
But people have gotten some nasty burns from water. I think it's a reasonable fear. I don't know if it was. They might have jumped the gun on the shooting. The guy did, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they definitely did. But here's the thing. I think it's reasonable to say that, like, you know. I mean, I think most people have been burned with boiling water at some point in their life. No, I have multiple times. Because I'm an idiot, though.
Oh yeah, but splatter. Okay, cool. Thank you. Anchor Baby is helping me with my board.
Always working. Always working. Those people.
Indeed. I don't know, man. I think that it's. I suspect that it. I don't think that he's going to get a favorable outcome in the court. But I think reasonable people could argue definitely that he was justified. Because
well, what's the reasonable argument though?
Because boiling water is a threat for for harm.
Let me ask you a question. If you threw boiling maliciously, if I threw boiling water on a person, and I got arrested for that, what do you think the charge would be? Would it be attempted murder?
No, it would be a assault.
Right.
And it may cause great bodily harm. There was a man who.
I'm not justifying throwing boiling water on people.
Have you heard of Al Green? The singer Al Green?
Yes.
He was like a
hot
Christian.
Grits.
Yeah, he had hot grits thrown on him by his girlfriend. Because he wouldn't marry her. He was already married to somebody else, and she was jealous. And I don't know if she even knew that he was married already, I think. But she threw hot grits on him, and he had to get surgery. Yeah, now, grits is a little bit different, maybe, because grits is sticky and stuff like that, and there's no getting off of that, and he was in bed or whatever. But still, like, I think that's a reasonable fear. I think it's a reasonable fear. But I don't know. It's crazy how fast it escalated. Pretty crazy how fast.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be fearful if somebody's going to throw boiling water on you. What I'm saying is that, like, to fear that you're going to die from it is a little dramatic. You get what I'm saying?
No, but I don't think that he felt that he was going to die, but he doesn't want hot water on him. That, again, the great bodily harm argument. That can cause...
Yeah, but not all, like, you know, for instance,
because burns don't necessarily kill you right away. If the burn victims, they get their whole body on fire. They may last for a few weeks or years. Eventually, they die because of the infections. That's what kills them. Yeah, and those infections cannot always be treated, even by hospitals, with round-the-clock treatment.
Right, but that's also based on, like, prolonged contact.
Like, that's fire.
Like surface.
I get you. Yeah,
it's gonna sort of like, and then you're gonna like wipe it off. Like, it's not. What I'm saying is we're talking about whether or not it warranted a deadly response. And I don't think the difference too is, like, if we're talking, because I looked up a story as well where it was a woman who threw boiling water on her husband and killed him, but she also put sugar inside of it. Oh, wow. So that it would, like, sort of caramelize, right? And it would stuck to him, and that's how he died from it.
Whoa.
But there's also a level to that. There's a level of viciousness to it, because this is a woman throwing it onto her husband. Like, that's why it's like a domestic kind of thing. So that's why there's a little different level to it. What we're talking about is police officers who showed up to help the woman,
And they're fully dressed and stuff like that.
fully dressed. Like, I mean, I think there's very little there to make an argument for reasonable self-defense. I think even if he wasn't a cop, like, so I think why this is important though is because a lot of people are taking this, like right wingers are taking this as like, oh well, he's only going to get a harsh sentence because he's white, and
That's a big...
I don't necessarily see that though.
Oh,
it's not a good example of that.
oh, but just because a white does wrong, the fact that he's white, that's going to add to the motivation to get him. They go for they go for these things. They go for these odd cases where reasonable guys like us disagree, in order to get shoehorn the racism mess onto it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
like
is
Derek Chauvin. Do you think it was justified that he's getting life in prison?
No, Derek Chauvin's a political prisoner. What I'm saying is those, you can't compare the two cases. I think it does
Derek
a
Chauvin, it was
disservice to
reasonable.
like
But I'm just saying that reasonable people were disagreeing about Derek Chauvin early on, especially because they're like, oh, that doesn't look right. His knees on in a weird place on the body.
Right.
And
yeah,
so
I always
people
stood
were
up
like,
for Derek Chauvin from the beginning.
Right, but a lot of people
there's-
thought, oh, I think you guys should be marching against the police with this one. And this
There's a
was
lot
like
of-
right wingers.
There's a lot of right wingers that were against Kyle Rittenhouse at the beginning.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
like
There was-
Ben Shapiro,
I
maybe.
Well, I
forget
don't
who it
know the
was.
names. I don't want to throw out the
Yeah,
names
okay.
exactly, but I remember having debates with right wingers where they were like,
That's
this
ridiculous.
isn't what the Second Amendment was for. And I'm like, this is exactly what it was for.
Right.
Like, so, yeah, there's a lot of political pressure that comes from the right wing. And that's kind of what I'm pointing out here, is that I feel like we're getting into that territory that black folks did with race identity, where they started to defend their criminals and people who did wrong. Oh, well, they're going to get treated harder because they're black.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, honestly, somebody who did mess up as a cop and didn't follow the rules and didn't do it, like, they should be treated harshly. Like, I don't see what the argument, like, I don't care what the race is, in my opinion. I get where you're saying, like, the Derek Chauvins of the world, but I don't think this is that. It's not the same thing.
The
It's not the same
energy
case.
behind it, honestly, this should be a local story. I don't think it should be a national story. The only reason it's a national story is because of the race thing. Otherwise, it's an interesting story. It has some interest to it because it's like a questionable move by the cop. I say it's questionable. You think he's guilty? What do you think he's guilty of?
I think I don't know what the charge would be, but I think in terms of being a legal gun owner, there's windows. People need to understand this about self-defense. It's windows of opportunity. It's not just the entire thing. It's like there's certain windows of opportunity you have to claim a self-defense argument. Now, I don't always agree with that. I feel like they're trying to close the window and make it smaller and smaller.
Oh, right. Because if you set up the incident, then they're like, then you set it up, and then you can't claim self-defense type of thing.
Well, it's almost like they're getting it to where, all right, if somebody tries to attack you with a machete and you have a gun and you shoot them, it's like some people would try to argue in court that, like, oh, well, was he in the forward motion of trying to hit you with the machete? Nitpicking. And it's like you're just trying to close the window of us being able to defend ourselves. So
Right.
I totally get that's what it is too, but there are like reasonable points of like where if somebody is walking away, even though they started a altercation, doesn't give you the right, even if they have a weapon, to shoot them in the back as they're walking away. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's certain things that you have to follow, and I feel like if they were regular citizens, they wouldn't be they would be charged with murder or something.
Wow.
Like it wouldn't be. Yeah.
Which he is. He's charged with murder, I heard.
I think so.
Interesting, man. Okay. Shall we play this? This setup leading up to it?
Yes, because, and let me just give the context why I think this is important, because it highlights two things. One, that I don't know if this woman had mental health issues. She kind of displayed some levels of that in her personality.
Yeah.
However, I don't believe she's like being erratic and being crazy as everybody's like claiming she is.
Okay.
And also I think the cops here kind of display a certain, you know, attitude that I wanted to point out that I think is important to show. I don't think I'll be able to hear the video, but let me know.
Oh, okay, true. Yeah. Well,
I know
okay.
what it is though.
Let's hear it. Let me go over here. Complicated business, folks. Complicated business.
Oh, while you
Yeah, go ahead. You can be
while
talking
you figure
while I'm
that
setting
out,
this up.
let me also point this out because one of your callers yesterday, I think his name was William, called in and said that the reason she didn't answer the door right away is she said that she was sleeping. And
Did she say that?
No, not at all.
Okay. Oh, so it was bad
Yeah.
info.
Yeah,
From,
completely bad.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is from, what is this source? This is from, Crishaun the Don sent this to me. 36-year-old black woman was killed by the police in her home in Illinois on Anadolu, English, after she called 911 and asked for help. Body cam footage shows Sonya Massey, mother of two, 35-year-old, I think. Yeah, 36. Shot by Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson while holding a hot pot in her kitchen. And so this is the footage. Here it is.
What do you need help with?
What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just, please God, please.
Oh, can you guys hear it? Let's see.
Do with what?
Huh?
What do you need help
I
with?
can hear it.
Okay, cool.
Nothing. I just wanted to see if I could help me.
What do you want help with?
My bag.
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard.
We didn't see nobody,
Yeah,
so.
nobody's out here.
You didn't see anybody?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
We checked the whole area.
okay.
What took you so long to answer the door?
Oh, I was trying to put on some clothes, sir. I'm sorry. I was trying to get
I got
dressed.
you.
I'm
All right.
sorry.
Is there anything else we can do for you?
Huh?
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Now,
Doing all
can
right
you
mentally?
stop it there, Hake?
Sure?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Okay.
I wish that they would have gone home at that point. Wouldn't that have been nice? Go ahead.
That's all they really had to do, because really the whole thing was over. It was over. The only
Yeah.
reason they were still there was they were trying to get her name
Oh,
and get her
Lord.
information.
So
and
they could
that's
do their
where-
dumb, evil paperwork.
do their paperwork, which in reality, like for instance, like people are
They
trying
could have
to
just
like
written down the address.
they could have written down the address. They really didn't even like if she would have
Dang.
started yelling at them, right?
Yeah.
And saying, listen, I don't like, because honestly, I don't feel like the cops were like, they were talking to her with the attitude because, and I think this is important to point out because when black folks act ridiculous in these police videos, now I'm not saying the cops were acting like the black folks do, totally different.
Yeah.
However, there is a certain passive aggressive kind of way that white people will talk to you that does have a certain attitude to it. Where,
Right,
like for instance, he goes, "Is there anything else we can help you with?" And then she goes, "What?" And then he goes, "Is there anything else we can help you with?" Like she's retarded or something. And then white people like to do that. That's their way of giving attitudes.
Right.
Like they're more passive aggressive. Black
Yeah.
people are just aggressive. You get
Plausible
what I mean?
deniability.
Right. So that when I go, stop talking to me like I'm retarded, they go, "What are you talking about? I didn't say that. I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
asked you if you needed help."
Right.
So I think it's important to point that out because if it was a black person giving an attitude, I'd point that out too. So I think to say that she was being erratic, I think is ridiculous.
At that point,
because
yeah, that wasn't.
I don't think she
didn't
was
seem-
ever being erratic.
The CNN commented on it that it was definitely erratic for her to pick up the thing again when they had the guns pointed at her. That's definitely.
Well,
Why did she do that?
I don't know. That's the point. I can't.
That
I
part
can't.
is erratic.
But I also don't know
And
why
I
the
rebuke
cops.
you in the name of Jesus. I couldn't tell if that was joking or not, but that was odd
I don't understand why the cops had the guns out.
because
They're the ones who escalated the situation.
Well, all of a sudden, she's bringing the pot over, and he says, "Put that hot water down." And she's saying, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." That is a weird situation that seems to have escalated it. And yes, the cops definitely did escalate it when they said, I'll shoot you in your blinking face, and had the guns out. But
yeah, how is I rebuke you in the name of Jesus considered a threat? Like, and she said
some
it like
people
kind
think
of
that
laughingly in a way.
Right. But she repeated it again, and she was acting weird, and she had the hot water, and then she picked up the hot water again. That's the part that you can't explain. That part is erratic.
No. This is what I'm saying. Because we have to establish that there's a reasonable threat that she was going to throw the water, that they thought she was going to throw the water.
That's why he would.
And
that's the only reason why he would say, "I'll shoot you in your blinking face."
Yeah, but here's the thing: she's not a criminal. She's not suspected of a crime. She didn't commit a crime. She called them to her house. She's in her own house. Not a criminal. She doesn't even have to identify herself if she doesn't want to.
Right.
She could tell them to leave.
But she does have to put the pot down if that's making him uncomfortable, as if she's posing a threat to him.
No, I think the question is that reasonable to be uncomfortable by after you told her to take the pot of water off the stove? What I'm saying is, if you thought that was a threat to begin with, why wouldn't you have two cops there? Why wouldn't you say, hey, ma'am, can I turn your stove off while you're looking for your stuff? You get what I'm saying? Like,
I get like tactics.
You
can but that's sort of nitpicking their tactics, which you can
nitpicking the whole thing.
You can nitpick their tactics, but dealing with the situation where she has this pot of boiling hot water, basically, that is what prompted him to be like, put that down or I'll shoot you.
But is that a reasonable response? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know if he was too jumpy with that, but it is it is definitely a reasonable threat it is a reasonable threat. He may have gone overboard with his response to that threat, but it was definitely a reasonable suspicion of a possible threat.
Again, I don't know where the reasonable threat was, because again, she wasn't acting erratic. She was being compliant.
But that is erratic.
She identified herself. No, let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, because I work in security, if anybody that doesn't know, there's a thing of like when we deal with people and we have reports we're writing and stuff like that. To deem somebody erratic, they have to be displaying certain behaviors, right? And she wasn't displaying those behaviors. Now, could she have some kind of mental issue? Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's being erratic.
Yeah, because he even asked her if she was mentally okay. She off.
Said, yeah.
And things go out of control real fast.
Here's what I'm saying. Erratic behavior has to show signs of certain things. So, for instance, inconsistent or unordinary behavior, disorderly, kind of unfocused, or like lack of purpose in what you're doing, or lack of consistency in what you're doing.
That sounded like you're describing her.
I don't see how, though. She's being compliant. She's identifying herself.
I don't think
she was. Hold on.
Okay.
She knew enough in her mind that, I have something on the stove. I don't want it to burn.
Oh no, I think he said.
There's no.
He said, "Go turn that off. I don't want it to burn." Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Well, regardless, that shows, like, again, why would they let her go to the deadly weapon?
No, but they're not thinking it's a deadly weapon until she starts coming, like, facing them from across the peninsula. Obviously.
She had her back. She had to basically turn around in order to get down to her knees. Now, again, I don't know why she picked up the pot again. I don't know why she threw it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that. Yeah. Also, I can't answer why they shot.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so it sounds like you don't necessarily think he's guilty of like murder, to be fair.
No, what I'm saying is he could be. I think it's fair to question either way. Like,
okay,
was it malicious? Like, I want to go in there and kill her? I don't think so. I think he just saw a situation. And listen, we know this too. Cops they're not sending their best with cops anymore.
Yeah.
because of the way that things have been, they've lowered the standards of cops and all that. Like,
Right.
I don't see why people think that can't like extend to white cops as well. That
No, I understand that.
they're picking weak white cops that get jumpy when they see a pot of water.
All right, so shall we finish this this little video? Maybe not the whole thing, because I don't want to be too rough. But
We don't.
here's
go ahead.
here's just roughly where it gets, since we're arguing about it a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm showing Crishaun on the screen too with me.
I love y'all. Thank you.
And if you
So-
can,
All
just
right.
po-
That's
point
how
out
you
the
black
moment
card.
where you think she's being like super erratic.
Okay.
Okay.
SUV?
You added
Don't know,
super to
someone
it.
Just parked it in your driveway.
You added super to it. I didn't say super.
Fair, good catch. Good catch.
And just left it.
Hey, I just need your name so we can get out of here. Was there any damage previous to your car?
So I didn't hear her name yet.
Previous, yeah, it
Okay,
was
what was the damage?
a dent, I believe.
What about windows?
Oh, it was something that happened earlier.
Okay, perfect. What is your last name?
Uh,
Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to attach.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
Oh, okay. She did identify
You have
herself.
an
You're
ID,
right.
that'd make things so much easier. I just just driver's license will do, and I'll get out of your hair.
Well, I understand that. Blacks don't like cops. A lot of
I'm
people
gonna show
don't.
y'all my paperwork.
I will
What?
get your paperwork.
What paperwork?
I got some paperwork.
Well, just
from-
get your ID real
Well, let's
quick.
get your
so I
ID
can attach it.
first, and then
One task at a time here.
Okay, let me
Here,
find
grab
it.
your ID for
Look
me.
at all this mess.
Okay.
Your ID. One task at a time.
I'm messy like that
Let's do
too.
an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
But I would have my
Alright,
stuff.
okay.
You
just in that
have.
stack right there, maybe.
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
She seems off. She does seem off.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay, this is the pot.
Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
I rebuke you in the name
You
of
better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Alright.
The blanks are when he's blanking. He's cussing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot.
Whoa.
Pot. Drop.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, kids. But anyway, I think we've covered pretty well what happened. So rest in peace to that young lady. Not that young.
Yes, definitely. Can I make one more?
Yes. Let's hear it.
Because I think that there's a thing with the right wing, right, where it becomes reactionary.
Yeah.
And again, my whole thing is always trying to make us better. It's never like I'm just criticizing the right wing to do it. It's that, for instance, when it comes to policing and police corruption and things like that, right? A lot of the times, I think right wingers the most will say is that, America's justice system isn't perfect, right?
Yeah.
But we have the greatest system, blah, 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 right? And I agree. But for some reason, right wingers seem to be a little unwilling to talk about the imperfections, right? Like, actually, let's go in depth about the imperfections, because it's almost like because the left wing has commandeered that conversation and took it into an ugly place,
Right.
we feel like we're less American for sort of like talking about that. But I think it's important for us because we are the truth tellers and we are the ones who actually do research and look into things, that maybe we should point out that, or maybe we should look into that maybe our system does have some flaws that make it easy to corrupt it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we need to change things or fix anything really big or do anything, to change it, because this might just be the best system we have as humans have figured out. But it does prove that we do need to pay attention and scrutinize the people in these places, just like politicians, because we got lazy on all of it. We got lazy on paying attention to who's running the system. And the system we think is like self-sustaining or like automated.
Oh, yeah.
But in reality,
it's the quality of the people.
we need good people making good decisions in order for this system to maintain itself.
Yep.
And we don't pay attention enough to those people. So
Indeed.
that's
Oh, he cut out there, guys. Hang on. Complicated business.
you guys.
There you are.
Usually it's me.
You're back.
Usually it's me with the technical difficulties.
Yeah,
good.
the stream, your connection froze up there for a second there.
Oh, okay. I see. I've been having minor internet issues lately. But sorry, let me
Okay.
know if yeah. But where did I?
You were saying that you need to deal with the quality of the people and pay attention to the quality of the people.
Okay.
Oh, man, what's
Yeah,
going
that's-
on? Okay.
Oh, I cut out again?
Yeah, cut out just briefly again. Okay. Well, let's get to some calls, man. Because we're past the bottom of the hour here. Calls and super chats, and then we'll get into this other stuff, hopefully. So let me get to John in Kentucky. Kentucky John, you're on the line here with Crishaun the Don. How you doing, John?
I'm doing all right. So I know y'all ready to get off the Sonya Massey case, so I just want to make a comment because I talked to you last week about it.
Yeah, I want you guys to feel free to, you callers, feel free to make your points. Go ahead.
I think the whole situation went wrong when he assumed that she was going to throw the water on him, because I don't think she set the water on the stove in hopes that the police would come in and she would have a chance to throw it at him. I don't think that part was premeditated. And the other cop is the one who told her to go get the water off the stove. So,
oh, was it the other cop who said that? Interesting.
Yeah. I think that guy's just a bad cop, like I said last week, and he overreacted, and it got to a point where it shouldn't have got to.
Do you think he's racist?
Man, I don't know, but he does have those evil tendencies. based on my opinion, he does. But
is racism the ultimate evil in your life, sir?
In my life, no.
So racism is not all that. Is not as evil as like murder.
When he says the ultimate evil, he's saying like it's the main thing I worry about.
No, he's saying, is it worse than murder, stealing?
Like, does it make murder worse because he's racist?
So racism exists on a hate type level, but in the past when racism was at its top tier, it set up all this downward spiral for black people to get ahead, and it got us screwed up in all different kind of situations. And nobody wants to take the blame for it. They just want us to have personal responsibility, but nobody wants to take the blame for the systems that have been set up to, get people like they are today. That's what I believe.
Why do you think it's the system and not the people?
Well, it is the people. Everybody has personal responsibility, but when you're in systems and you're growing up, year by year by year, your brain is kind of being formed, and you're being shaped to who you are today. That's why my organization, we want to fix people and catch them where they are right now, because some people are too far gone to be helped.
The Israelites is your organization you're talking about?
Yes. I won't say which one, but...
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to.
But I have a question about Trump. I know y'all probably want to talk about what I just said, but because I need to go.
Let's hear it.
I want to ask you and Crishaun a question. What do y'all think about what Trump said about after this election, when he wins, we won't ever have to vote again? I just want to hear y'all's responses from it. And Hake, I got to go.
All right, thank you, John in Kentucky. I'll hang up here. Appreciate you.
All
right. What do we think of Trump saying the Christians will never have to vote again? I only saw the headline. Did you see where he said that?
I honestly didn't see it. I didn't see the context or anything.
Well, I think it was tongue-in-cheek. John in Kentucky, we've hung up with him now. There's one line open right now, guys. I think it was tongue-in-cheek. He was just saying, we're going to look out for the Christians and make the country, put it on the right path again. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah, it's Trump talk.
Yeah, exactly.
This country's going to be so Christian, you're going to be tired of Christ. Like, he talks to,
right.
He oversells things. So
Christians won't have to vote.
I do like that he appealed to us. Somebody finally did.
Indeed.
So
yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yep. Let's go through a few more calls, guys. Joe in Phoenix, Arizona on the line here. Joe, You're on with Crishaun the Don.
My favorite caller.
Indeed.
Well, good morning to both of you.
Morning.
I must say, Crishaun, I'm a little bit shocked here. I agree with almost everything you said this morning about that case.
Wow.
Yeah, but I bet you believe it because she's black.
Are you questioning
You're
yourself
gonna
now?
ruin it somewhere.
Are you questioning yourself now, Crishaun, because Joe from Phoenix agrees with you? The snake, my co-host, the snake?
No, that's why I just said, because I bet you he doesn't agree with me for the same reasons. I agree based on reasonability. I bet you his is because she's black and it's a white cop shooting her.
Oh, is that true?
That's 100% nonsense. I don't base my
If the
opinions
roles
on skin color.
If the roles were reversed, would you see it the same way?
100%, yes.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I don't think enough is being made. I do think she had mental problems, but her behavior was erratic.
So
I don't hear it discussed enough that the cop did have 2 DUIs 2 years in a row, so he clearly had problems himself.
And how many years ago was that?
I believe I read it was 2015, 2016.
Oh, that's almost 10 years ago.
Well, why
a lot
is
of
that
people
why is
turn
that
over their.
relevant?
Yeah, I don't see. I know. I get that it can indicate the type of person who get a couple of DUIs, and I know that he changed agencies a lot, and I don't know if that was not always because of discipline, just because he moved around. And I don't know. It may indicate. I know that he had complaints, maybe like he was angry or something like that. They said, "Oh, he needs better anger management of anger under pressure," or something like that.
I
don't know.
Supposedly,
That part is
analysis.
it's context, but say again. Go ahead. What was your response?
Go ahead, Crishaun was saying something. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that actually sounds like a fair analysis of him. He did seem a little like quick to go to, like him going right to, "You better not. I'm gonna shoot you in the effing face." Like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, bro.
Right. I mean, what time of the morning was it? What time of the night was it? I think it was after midnight.
I don't
Well, listen,
know,
if she was a criminal, it changed the context of him saying that. But the fact that she was a law-abiding citizen in her own house. Like, here's another thing. She called the cops because she thought there was a prowler. Maybe she was scared that there was somebody trying to break into her house. Like, she's by herself, living. She's a woman, single woman.
But then when they got to her, she almost acted like she didn't even know anything about any prowler. Wasn't that odd?
No, she did. She didn't know about the car. She didn't know about the car parked in front of her house.
But she just seemed wholly unconcerned about any prowler by the time they got to her. She took forever to get to the door. She's like, "Oh, I was getting dressed." She was acting.
Well, I don't know.
I think that she definitely was acting weird.
Yeah,
and
she was
yeah,
acting
yes,
weird.
yes,
She didn't
I agree with
answer
that.
questions directly.
She's like, "Oh, let me find this stuff," digging around.
Yeah,
Look,
she was off. She was definitely.
She was
off.
looking for her little miniature gun thing to pull on these cops. I'm making that up completely. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Well, that does bring up a great point, actually, because what if they were like so worried about her being dangerous, she was digging through her bags and stuff. Why weren't they on edge at that point?
Yeah, they were. I mean, they had their eyes on her. We're praying for it. We're praying for the cop, aren't we, fellow Christians, Joe and Crishaun? You guys.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I'll take this as a moment to actually be in agreement with Joe, since we always disagree and we fight all the time.
Yeah.
I'll take it as like hey, we found some common ground finally.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
now we can fight, Crishaun.
Oh, go
when
ahead.
When it comes to your MAGA hat, it doesn't bother you that you're supporting a guy who's been found civilly liable for business fraud, for sexual assault, defamation, owes over $500 million to the state of New York, and still has 3 open criminal cases.
No.
Are you calling Trump a dirtbag or something?
I'm just stating the facts, James.
No, but how would you characterize a man like you just stated all those facts? How would you describe that man?
A criminal.
Oh, okay. A criminal. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you know that's
convicted criminal.
Joe? The thing is that like they haven't made any solid arguments in any of those cases, so we know it's trumped up cases, and it's done for the specific fact for you to come on this show and call him a criminal. Like you're falling.
Yeah, they like
for
their
it.
headlines. They say, "Oh, Trump is a criminal."
Yeah, and then
and the
you're using
Wikipedia little line at the top of the Wikipedia. Oh, he's the president, but also a convicted criminal.
Right, you support a rapist. It's like, no, I don't. It's like, have you heard the woman that made the argument? It's a completely bogus argument that was stolen from an episode of Law and Order. She was
cute.
crazy.
That's funny.
I'm just
No
saying,
hard
you're
evidence.
you're using it for the exact reason they did it for.
Crishaun, a jury of his peers, a grand jury indicted, a judge found him guilty. You're saying there's no hard evidence. That's fascinating.
I would hardly call those peers of Trump. Trump is peerless. There's no man like Trump. He is without peer.
It's hard to actually get, like, even just famous people in general to get them to have fair trials, because most people have a preconceived notion about them already.
Indeed. Bunch of
Like,
liberals. Especially in New York.
And then here's the crazy thing is they charged him for federal crimes on a state level. That should show you right there. It's completely ridiculous.
And it was charged by that black radical.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense.
Son. They charged him on state activities, not federal charges.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you think about the directions that were given to the jury? That they didn't even have to come to a unanimous decision. They just all had to agree that he committed some kind of crime. Like that's never been done before or after.
Yeah. That's just not accurate. It was a unanimous decision. So that has been well documented. And what you just said is
the point is that why were they given those directions?
They were not. You're
they
mixing
were
up the law.
I'm mixing up the law.
Yeah.
Well, how does that even make sense? That's not even an argument.
What was given to them was that partial judgment on some of the charges. You did not be unanimous.
I put my snake away.
The overall charge, yes, you had to be unanimous that he committed those crimes.
No, it had to be unanimous that he committed a crime. So they didn't even have to agree on what crime it was.
That is just not accurate, Hassan.
That is.
Why do you support Trump, Crishaun? In short.
Mainly because of what he represents. Really, a part of it, I got to admit, it's because it pisses off the liberals, and that's my human side.
Right.
But I do believe that he's the only guy that's actually going to take care of immigration and the border. That's a big one for me. The fact that I feel like he's bringing the country back to some sort of traditionalism. I appreciate that. And he's a constitutional president. He actually follows the Constitution, unlike most presidents before him.
Interesting, man. Nice.
But he didn't build the wall.
Oh, he built a bit of it.
He built some of it.
Yeah.
But it's funny. You argue that, but you're against building the wall, aren't you? Shouldn't you be happy about that?
Are you for or against the wall, Joe? Interesting question.
You have never heard me say I was against the wall.
Oh, we made an assumption.
I made an assumption. I made an assumption.
Terrible. Okay, so fellow Christians, handyman something says, Hake, you're not praying for Massey? It's no use in praying for Massey. That Sonya Massey gal. I guess you pray for all involved. But you guys praying for the cop? Are you guys praying for Trump? Are you guys praying for the quote unquote family of Sonya Massey? I guess she has children. I don't know how old her children are. Maybe they're close to grown. You guys praying for all of them? Trump, the cop, and the Massey relatives?
I had one more thing, then I got around.
That's a question. Answer my question first.
Sure.
Am I
pray for
praying
the world.
Trump? No.
Nice.
But do I pray for people in general? Sure.
Whoa, you don't pray for Trump? Oh, okay. The plot
Absolutely
thickens. Not. Okay. All right.
Who are you? Can I ask Joe real quick? Who is Joe supporting? Who are you supporting? Who are you voting for?
I don't have a candidate yet.
Ugh. I knew you were gonna say that. No commitment to anything.
But no, you don't like Kamala Harris, huh?
No, I can't say I'm a Kamala fan now.
He doesn't
What do you
like
vote?
black women.
That's
Oh,
nonsense.
yes.
I love black women.
I know, but you don't think that there should be leading, which is nice. All right, last
We
point.
can agree on that, yeah.
Go ahead, real fast, Joe in Phoenix.
So you mentioned constitutional. Are you aware of the already multiple felony plea deals in Georgia regarding Trump's and the fake elector scam?
I honestly, I don't get bogged down in all that stuff.
So you're not aware of it, okay.
No, I'm
That is-
aware of
that
it.
is-
I just I don't get into like things I'm not interested in. I'll be honest.
That is
Indeed.
hardcore.
Like honestly, even
actual proof.
Trump making like arguments like
And
in the
evidence.
courts about hold on real quick about voter fraud and all that stuff. I didn't get into that. Like that stuff doesn't interest me.
Yeah, don't know, don't care. I'm with
I like
you.
criminal court interests me more.
Yeah, real world
Well,
stuff.
Yeah.
You asked
Not
for hardcore
political.
evidence. That is hard evidence, and it is the very definition of unconstitutional behavior. So hopefully you'll look into that.
All right, I'll look
we got
into it,
along
'cause-
fairly well today. So have a good day, both of you. Talk to you later, James.
All right,
too, Joe.
Joe in Phoenix. Bye. I find it hard to
Brother.
believe that he cares about all that stuff. That's sort of egghead stuff.
I don't think he does. Yeah, it's like when people bring up January 6th, like it's like you don't really care about that stuff.
Right. I mean, he thought Obama was a good president, but he's a black Republican. What a mess. Let's get to
And sorry, I did make some assumptions about Joe on that. Call,
Indeed.
so I do apologize for those.
fair enough. Bethany, first-time caller out of Illinois, is on the line. Bethany, thank you for calling and holding. You're live with Crishaun the Don. Go ahead.
Hey, how are you guys?
Fine. How are you?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, I'm fine. We are definitely praying for Deputy Grayson.
Nice. Are you on his side or are you not taking sides?
I'm definitely 100% on his side.
Oh, okay. So you think he was justified 100%?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think she was all there. She was going to rebuke him in the name of Jesus.
And throw water like holy water on him and melt him
Yeah.
like a witch.
Yes, like the Salem witch trials.
Ah. Had you considered that, Crishaun the Don? I forgot to mention that point.
No, because I'm reasonable and not insane.
But
Here's
this
the
woman
thing.
is insane. It's reasonable to wonder whether she might have been trying to throw holy...
And why did it take
Water
her
on him.
20 minutes or 10 minutes to answer the door? And if she was sleeping nude with
Maybe-
a pot of boiling water on the stove?
No, she wasn't sleeping. We already
Well,
proved
she said
that
she
by
was.
the video.
Yeah, she
I know,
put
but
on
the
clothes.
cop asked her why it took so long, and she did say that she was sleeping, that she had to put on clothes.
No.
I didn't
She
hear
said
that.
I had
I
to
don't remember
put
if
on
she said
clothes.
sleeping, but she did have to put on clothes. Whether she was sleeping or not, she had to put on clothes. And it took her how long?
But so you're boiling water naked?
I think she put on the my theory is she put on the water after she heard the knocks to maybe cook up some coffee or something.
Well, let me ask you a question, Bethany.
Out of habit.
Why does?
But
why
I have
does it
no
take-
idea. Go ahead.
Why does it take women an hour to get ready to go to dinner?
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh.
It takes me 20 minutes to get ready, and I'm a woman.
You're a
Yeah, but
lady.
that's-
This gal
Yeah, that's not.
This gal takes forever though. Some ladies do take forever. It's a fair point.
Yeah, you're very true, but I'm not one of them, so it doesn't take all ladies to get ready.
No, but his
that
point
long.
is this gal may have taken that long because she's a woman who takes her sweet time.
Yeah.
But she
And we
called
could
the
see her
police.
house-
Don't you think
Hold
she'd
on.
be ready to open the door for them?
Her house.
Not,
her house.
not
is,
that woman.
her house is obviously a mess. Maybe
My
she couldn't
point
find her
exactly.
clothes. Couldn't even find her ID.
Yeah, and then she reached in her bag 3 times.
Yeah, it was
She's
weird.
not a criminal. She's allowed to do that. Are you for the
Well,
Constitution
and she didn't
or
even
not?
know her last name.
She
She's
did.
like,
She gave her. Do you see what I'm saying, though, Hake? It's hard to argue with people that haven't actually looked at the evidence. She's literally making points that we proved already to be wrong.
Well, she took a while to say, Massey. And the guy's like,
But-
you shouldn't have to think about your last name.
Point being,
Yeah, I
though,
don't think
she.
about my last name.
Hold on. Point being, though, you're not. That's either way. You're not proving like that. This is justified that she should be shot in the face. Like there, even if you're saying
No,
she
she
was
should have
crazy,
listened to the deputy.
she's not a criminal. What
No,
don't
but
you
she should've-
understand?
But wait.
Do you know
You
that?
have a
Does she
Fourth
not have a
Amendment
criminal
right.
record? Do you know that for a fact?
It doesn't matter.
But
She's
the point
calling
is-
them for help.
But you're saying two different things. She should have listened to the deputy. Yes. And
Especially
at
if
that
he had
point,
a gun on her.
at the point that she was picking up the pot of hot water, she was not listening to the
second time.
deputy.
Yeah, but just because the deputy shot her doesn't mean that makes it justified. Like he could. What I'm saying is, like, yeah, she lost her
No,
life.
I'm saying he had every reason to do it. I mean, he gave her reason. She gave him reason to do it. His life was threatened.
I don't see. You're not even making the
Life
argument
or great
of how it
bodily
is.
harm, anyway, because
Yeah,
he's already
like,
said that
it's
it's not life. But
And you're basing it
you
on
guys
like,
are playing
on,
so
like,
tough with your hot water.
You're not even basing it on what the video is showing.
I seen the video.
Yeah, but you're making points that
And I
didn't
lived
happen
30
in the video.
minutes from this, and all they're doing is protesting.
That
What a
part I don't
point.
agree with.
Yeah.
That part I don't agree with. I don't think it should be protested.
Yeah,
I think
it's
he's
pretty
already
bad
he's
in
already
Springfield.
been charged. That's what we wanted to happen, or that's what they wanted to happen.
Wow, what a mess. So are you having to deal with the protests even where you are, 30 minutes away from this Springfield area? and
No,
everything?
because I don't go to Springfield.
Oh, good.
I
don't blame
do
you.
all my shopping other than in Springfield because of the crime.
Yeah, I mean, I try to go to nicer areas myself. You don't have to ask for
Yeah.
them to open up the glass case so you can get your toothpaste or deodorant
Right.
or whatever. What a pain. Interesting. Well, thank you, Bethany. I appreciate it. Nice call.
All right. Thank you for taking my call, and you guys have a wonderful day.
You as well.
You too, Bethany.
Take care. All right. Man, oh man. Rika, Frederick in Los Angeles on the line here. Frederick, thanks for calling and holding. What's up?
What's going on, Hake?
Hey.
What's up, Crishaun?
Hey, Fred.
Look at this. Look at this. Hey, you just seen the video today, so you shouldn't even had an opinion before today.
Oh, no, that's not true because I showed the video last Thursday, the key moment video where she picked up the pot
key
again.
moment video.
Yeah,
Oh,
from
okay.
Spoiler Alert.
You kept saying you
So
ain't
yeah,
seen it first.
I didn't know how they were talking to each other. I hadn't heard any audio.
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay. But
and
it's
I
not
didn't have
even-
a
it's
full
not even-
opinion. I was just leaving it as looked like the cut might have been justified to me. I mean,
No, he's locked up. You said chin up king.
yeah, I did
Crishaun's
say
on the
chin
right
up king.
page.
I did say chin up king to the cop.
Yeah, Crishaun's
Chin
on the
up
right
king.
page. Your little chihuahua backfired on you today.
What? Now you're so you're
Yeah.
calling Crishaun the Don my chihuahua like a
Usually
vicious
you're a
little dog?
bulldog, but today,
No, I
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Oh, just wait. We're
It's
not.
'cause-
The show's not
It's
even
'cause
half
Fred-
over.
It's because Fred
can
has
be the
the
plushie
feminine
on the
spirit,
TV.
and it hurts him to admit that he agrees with somebody he hates. like
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
He just can't admit that.
No, just like that last caller, Bethany. Hey, I hope she's not a juror. It cracks me up.
I hope
because
she
they act
is.
Like the cop is not charged already. We just waiting on the jury to come up with a verdict so we can ride. Cause it better be guilty. And if it's not,
What?
that's
What?
when we
You
really-
disavow
Yeah,
that
we've
right
seen this
now. I
play out
disavow.
before. We don't.
There's no calling for riots on the Hake report.
No, I said we are, not you.
I know, but that's not. You're not supposed to brag about wanting to riot if the verdict is
No,
quote unquote
come on,
wrong.
I ain't bragging. It's about what God's plan is gonna do. You know,
You're-
you've seen this before.
You're pretending
You've
that you're
seen this
that
before.
it's
The cops
God's
get
plan.
off.
Wait a minute.
The cops get off. How many times have we seen this play out? Let's talk about history.
So Frederick,
The cops
are you
get
going to
off.
riot?
I don't know. I might film it and fly my drone. I'm waiting. I don't know. I'm not gonna riot. I'm too
Have
old.
you ever rioted?
Have I ever rioted? I plead the fifth.
Why
Listen.
are you justifying riots?
Because they move things. You know what I'm saying? Riots. Remember in Watts how they changed stuff?
After the Watts riots, that was before I was born. The Watts riots. That was in the 60s or 70s or something, right?
Yeah, and I don't think those
Yeah,
neighborhoods
yeah.
have ever recovered from it.
Yeah, riots are evil.
Oh yeah, they have. Gentrification come through and all that. everything always turn over. Everything repeats itself. That's just like we're about to have a black woman president. It's going back. I told y'all those that was last will be first. So it's just a matter of time.
Let's take the
But
Fred.
so you-
Fred.
Yeah. Let's hear you.
Go ahead. Ask me.
You say what? I want to hear what you think about Trump being able to say that all cops will be immune to prosecution for shootings like this. How do you feel about Trump making that statement?
Did he say that?
I don't think he said that. I think what he's talking about was like sort of bringing qualified immunity back in certain places, and I don't think you probably don't know.
Yeah, you know.
You probably don't know what qualified immunity is, though. You think that means they could just kill anybody?
Don't spin this. You know what he's talking about.
What does qualified immunity mean then, Crishaun?
See how y'all do?
Go ahead.
Come on, talk about it. Tell them what it means.
Oh, okay.
Neither one of y'all know what it means, and y'all just listen to Trump talk. This is sad.
I don't listen to Trump. I don't listen to Trump. I only read CNN.
Okay, qualified immunity. Qualified immunity means like cops are immune from things like civil suits and criminal cases.
Tell them what it means.
Shut up.
I am,
dude.
you fool. Listen.
Don't say shut up too much, kids.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's the
All
same thing. Like if he was president, this cop would still be at
you know,
work.
Trying to educate black people like this is like trying to feed a kid his vegetables.
I know what it
it's
means.
like, here, this is
You
good
the
for
one
you.
didn't
This is
know
good
what
for
it
you, and
means.
he's spitting it out. He doesn't want to listen.
Exactly what I'm saying. I already knew what it means. You don't want to act like you didn't know what it means, and it means
Okay,
that
but
the
you
cop would
think-
be on suspended pay, probably waiting
That's
for
not
an
what it means.
investigation while he's somewhere relaxing on vacation while they do their own job. Police.
Yeah, in certain
No,
cases,
that's not
that
how it
could
works.
happen.
You got to hold them accountable. That 17-year-old's without a mama today because of a 30-year-old white police that didn't know how to
All right,
handle a
spare me the
situation.
emotions. Spare me
Yeah.
the emotional
There's no
plea. I'm
emotion. It's
cold.
not my child. It's not
I'm
me.
cold to you
I'm just
on
saying.
that.
Right.
This
Listen.
type of stuff is going to push Kamala Harris right into the presidency.
That's what they're trying to do, but it's not because she's worse at
and it's working.
she's
It
incarcerating
already
more
got
black
you to come
people than
around.
any presidential candidate ever. What are you talking about, Fred?
Emotions win presidency. Riots push emotions. Riots are God's plan. Everything that happens is God's plan. I'm not emotional. Y'all have the wait and see attitude, so y'all keep waiting and see. I'm rejoicing in the day at what God provides is perfect. Don't look negative at the black. Don't look negative at the white. Just see what's happening and feel either kind of way about it. It's beautiful.
All right,
You don't
platitudes
see the
with
beauty
Frederick.
in it. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Rika.
All right, have a good
Enough
day,
of the
y'all.
You
platitudes.
too. Bye.
All right, yep, later.
What a mess. Oh, man.
Those
You-
type of people are impossible to talk to. Impossible.
We are at the top of the hour, Crishaun the Don. I'm talking
Frederick
with
is erratic.
Indeed.
Frederick is erratic. Sorry.
But I would never pull up on Rika.
Hey, he comes riding to my city. I might.
We're talking to Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. There is one line open, guys. A lot of people want to talk to Crishaun, and a lot of them want to talk about this Sonya Massey thing, but we have to keep it moving. And I do want to cover White History Month and the white dudes for cackling Kamala Harris. Well, they say white dudes for Harris. So let's talk about this stuff, Crishaun the Don, before we get back to calls. And we can dig in more with Sonya, but let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, I think it kind of bleeds into each other, the White History Month and the white dudes for Kamala, because I think it kind of falls into this whole white identity conversation that I've been having with you for, past few times I came on.
Yeah.
Well, first off, the white dudes for Kamala thing, first I'll point out they were very careful in not using the word men. And I think that was specifically done. They're like, we have to
Because they're
figure out
definitely
some-
not men.
That
And men
too.
are hated.
A bunch of sniveling man bun rocking beta males talking to their webcams, crying about how masculinity is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna appeal to the to the blue collar white voters.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what they were trying to do. It was an obvious, like, desperate ploy to get white male votes for Kamala because she doesn't have them. But I do think there's a level to it that it was also either one of two things. They were trying to appeal to the white men without offending the feminists and the transsexuals without, using the word men and that whole thing, which is basically impossible. You can't appeal to both sides.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. But I think there's a thing to where I think it's starting to show that white people are having the same like feeling of like when you watch that, you probably have the same feeling of how like black people felt when they watched the Blexit movement happening. You know what I mean? Because they'll look at them and go, because I heard a lot of people say this, a lot of white guys say this, that they're not really white people. They're not really whites. They're not really real white men.
Yeah.
And that where I go into is whiteness a political identity or is it a ethnicity? Are we talking about ethnicity or politics? And this whole thing kind of puts a wrench into the whole thing. Like, I'd like to ask you, actually, what do you think as far as that? Do you see the white dudes for Kamala? Do you see them as actual white guys? Or, like, what's your take on that?
I see them as, I would sometimes say they would be not normal whites. I would definitely distance myself because they are by and large the artist types.
Yeah.
I heard that they're kind of like celebrities, actors, and some of them are like D-list, some of them a little bit more known. And Jeff Bridges was on there? Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
The dude.
What a shame.
I'm tired of that character. The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, so that's a different type of white for sure. Because there are whites who end up liberal, but they're not going to be gushing for Kamala Harris. They just don't like Trump, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's more likely that you're going to find a white who finds Trump either offensive or whatever. So for Kamala, I don't see it. I don't know that many white people, but anyway. Yeah, I would distance myself a little bit. Go ahead.
In reality, what it should be called is white dudes for the machine.
Yeah.
For the establishment, because that's what they are. They're not for Kamala. They're for the establishment.
Yeah.
And the machine. So that's a big part of what we need to understand, too, is we're not up against a specific person. It doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden, Kamala. They could bring back Barack Obama for all it matters. That's why Michelle Obama is a viable candidate on their side, because it's just a face.
Yeah, true. They're so shallow. I gotta see if I can show you guys this. Let's see here. Bum bum bum. There's one. White dudes. Okay, here. Let me show it to you guys. White dudes rally to elect Kamala Harris as the first female president. See, that's just embarrassing. A star-studded. See, star-studded. I don't know if whites even fall for this. Maybe the type of white man who would fall for this would fall for the stars.
It's just like they're capitalizing off of white guilt again. They're trying to do that, but I think it's like not as that stock is low now.
Yeah.
Less white people feel guilty.
The fundraiser for progressive white men raised almost $4 million for Vice President cackling Kamala Harris. You know what? I think that part of it is to go viral, which they did. It was successful, in that sense. Some famous white dudes, including the guy who played the dude, which I'm not familiar with that. Is that the dude abides and stuff like that? Or the
It's a goofy movie from the 80s, early 90s that got some kind of cult following, and then they made a religion based on it. So
oh, wow.
Been living off of that his whole entire life.
But Jeff Bridges, I've heard of Jeff Bridges. Made a surprise appearance. Why do I recognize the name Jeff Bridges? What was he in that was actually like good? Because I recognize that name.
I feel like he was on some kind of like USA Network show or something. I don't know.
I feel like he's been in other movies or something. Jeff Bridges. See, he looks like a white man. Jeffrey Leon Bridges is an American, quote unquote, actor and musician, 74 years old, married since 1977. Good for him. 6'1". Siblings, Bo Bridges, something. What are his movies?
It's funny how all these these liberals, they all actually
The Big Lebowski. I never.
They
saw
all have
that.
like family structures and stuff, but they
I
preach
know.
that we shouldn't.
The Old Man, Tron, The Legacy, Tron, 1982. Oh, okay. So I don't think that I entirely saw Tron. True Grit. These are some
True Grit. Yes.
2010. He was in Iron Man. Okay. I don't know. You guys know, but Hell or High Water. Oh, I saw part of that. Okay. Anyway, I just kind of had to know.
What did you know about that? That they created a religion around that character?
No.
The dude. It's called dudism.
Okay.
And it's just being a hippie.
What a mess. So it's just basically being a dumb liberal boomer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's always been for the
Okay.
establishment.
So,
well,
go ahead.
Here's where I was coming from as far as like this whole thing, because I find that white Republicans anyway and conservatives, they're more looking at it as, because this is coming from more of a representation kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing it, right? Racial representation. And like, you guys aren't seeing white people, meaning you're not seeing these guys as being the right representation for white men. Right.
Yeah.
So, for instance, me and you were having a debate a few times I came back, or that was on, that you wanted a white man as a president.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
an all white men cabinet.
Right.
Just put it in your face, because this diversity stuff doesn't matter.
Right.
Color doesn't matter, so let's go all white, because color doesn't matter.
I see where you're coming from, but what I'm saying is
and they do it better anyway. Well, go ahead.
yeah, in the past. Well, depending on what
the quality of whites, they don't make whites like they used to. I understand. Yeah. Let's hear it.
What I'm saying is, I feel like white people now that they're identifying with this racial identity thing.
Yeah.
They're now feeling like they need representation. So what ends up happening is that they end up becoming hypocrites, because their whole thing is going against that's why I'm happy you actually were honest about it and said you just want to go against the diversity thing.
Yeah.
That's all. There's a lot of people who are saying that they want white men there because they want the representation.
Right.
And it makes them hypocrites, because they told black people that with going against diversity, that it's ridiculous to need to want the need to see the representation in order to be, productive members of society or believe they have any power, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, you have to either admit that black people were right in wanting the representation, or you have to say that, like, kind of what you said, it's not really about representation. We're just saying it. We're just saying it to play the game.
Yeah. Right? Wouldn't it be awesome, though, to be just in your face, all white men, preferably rich and older?
See, to me, it doesn't matter, because I understand that the liberals could do that tomorrow and it wouldn't matter. Like, that's why I think the whole thing of, well, they need, when we were trying to figure out who
my
they
problem
were
is
pick,
part of it is the Republicans try to follow in this diversity stuff.
Yes.
So
that's my problem.
Yeah.
I expect now the liberals to do that, because that's their whole thing.
Right.
Like, when Republicans now feed into it and play into it, I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, why are you? It just doesn't make sense to me.
They're kissing up.
So it really is. It really is.
It's a shame.
But that's kind of where I'm coming from. I wanted to know if white people are seeing it that way. Like, do you want representation, and if you do, then you can't be mad at black people for wanting diversity, because then you're admitting that you need it.
Okay, well, check this out. Azzmador, the late great Azzmador, he died recently. He said that whites have been brainwashed into not identifying with race. They've been brainwashed into giving up their power, and they need that power, and they handle it better than the other races in America.
No, I think it was more they were brainwashed into buying into the racial identity because they were brainwashed into believing that their personal ethnicities were all evil. For instance, Germans don't like saying that they're German in public because, you know,
Oh, the Nazi
history
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't care about that. I don't care about racial representation at all. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? But I think there's a lot of white people here who feel more comfortable saying white rather than their ethnicity because they don't want to answer for whatever evil that their ancestors did or whatever. Because they again, it's right wingers falling into the game.
Oh. Well,
I'm
the
just like-
racism thing, the racism brainwashing that's been embraced by conservatives and liberals, calling racism this bad thing, this big bad boogeyman thing, has been a setup to both whites and blacks. It's played on their minds in a really bad way. It's a mess.
It's Marxism.
Yeah.
It's Marxism. The buying into the race on either side is buying into the Marxism, whether you like it or not. Everybody's picking up this white racial identity because it's been attacked so much. Me growing up, I never had white people that identified as white. You get what I'm saying? I remember growing up, we all talked about our ethnicities. Like we knew about each other's backgrounds. I knew this guy was German and Polish.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Like now it's just white. Nobody knows, it's homogenized.
Yeah.
And it's like what, and I don't even think people understand what are you committing to
Yeah.
as far as whiteness.
What's your take on White History Month?
White history again, I get the playing the game. But I don't need it just as much as I don't need Black History Month. Like I think I'm a real big history buff. I like to just read about history, and I've never read it in like compartmentalizing it as this is Black history, this is white history, this is like it to me. Like I'm okay with it in terms of like you said, just throwing it at the liberal establishment. However, I don't know if it matters at this point of playing that game.
Do you think that every month is White History Month?
No.
Is every month anti-White History Month?
Yeah, I've seen definitely that type of stuff.
Yeah.
However, again, I think people need to understand that they're attacking an identity. They're not attacking ethnicities because they can't even do that, the liberals. Because if liberals actually went out and said, let me tell you the problem with this country, it's Irish people.
Uh-huh.
They'd actually get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
They'd lose voting base. But for them to be able to say the white identity, because that could be anything. That could be anybody.
White supremacy.
You know
and then
supremacy.
and a lot of whites are like, I'm not into the white supremacy, so they don't get offended necessarily.
Right.
Yeah.
But I noticed this. A lot of the white people who do hold very like near and dear this white identity, a lot of them also believe that Zionism is oppressing them.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So what I'm seeing is that, again, it's Marxism. It's brainwashing you into holding to this identity. And the way you hold on to that identity and have people defend it is believe there's an enemy oppressing that identity. Right? So it's the same thing black people did, except Zionism is white supremacy. If you were to change these words, it would all be the same exact argument. White supremacy is Zionism.
Right.
Based is woke.
Right.
Yeah, like it all plays into the same mentality.
They're in the same spirit. I
have people like, oh, sorry, go
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I have people like shame me where they'll go, oh, you're not based. You're not based. And I'm like, bro, I was a liberal when people were telling me I'm not woke. That doesn't bother me. I don't care. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
You know, there is sometimes, you mentioned that the right are oftentimes reactionary, and there's a temptation to, when they attack you with something, you attack with the opposite, whereas you should oftentimes just completely change the subject because they're not even in the right field.
Right. Yes.
I can't think of specific examples. I think of one that's almost an example where they say, is homosexuality, are you born that way, or is it a choice? Well, it's neither, because you don't necessarily choose how you end up perverted. Like, everybody's perverted on some level, and in some ways people got issues, and they didn't necessarily choose how they ended up, how twisted they ended up, getting into drinking or whatever. It's not a choice, but you're also not born that way, I don't think.
In reality, the question should be, the debate should be, is homosexuality normal or abnormal?
Yeah, is it right? Is it good for society or bad for it?
Right, but you're right. We'll talk about the other thing more.
Yeah.
We'll debate that all day. It's like I said about the police thing. It's like right wingers, we should be having intelligent conversations, because the left isn't doing that, about police corruption and, you know, can we make this system better? Because we're the ones that are going to figure that out.
Indeed.
Liberals just destroy. They don't make things better.
That's for sure. They pretend like they're going to swoop in and make things better, but they don't.
Right.
It's a mess. All right, let's get back to some calls. I have super chats to read as well. I got to get to David in Ocala, Florida. David in Ocala, Florida, been on hold for quite some time. Thank you for holding, man. You're live with Crishaun the Don. How you doing, man?
All right. Hey, Crishaun. Nice to have you on the show. I was on last week speaking about the Sonya Massey thing, and I brought up everything you said to Hake. You know, like, they shouldn't have went inside her house. It was wrong for him. You know, he escalated the situation. That man's guilty of murder. And, you know, they're gonna have to keep him in solitary confinement, because when them brothers get to him, he's in trouble.
Yeah, pray for him.
Pray for who?
Who? For the cop.
I ain't praying for him.
What? I thought you were a Christian. You just said that
you said the
brothers.
You
said the black inmates are going to attack him.
Yeah, well, they just have to keep him in solitary confinement. Another thing, somebody esoteric said that I said the woman was racist. No, I said the cop was racist.
Yeah, he said the cop was racist. Did you hear his call? Do you happen to hear? I know sometimes you tune into my show. Did you happen to hear his call last week?
I might have, because I remember somebody defending it. So.
I was sort of surprised by it. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, don't you live in Florida?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So do I. Did you grew up in Florida, right?
Yeah, I was born in New York. I moved here when I was very young, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. I was telling Hake, I knew people like that guy growing up, many of them. Okay, and they're full-blown narcissists. And when you mix steroids with a narcissist, you got a bad combination, buddy, and that's what that is.
You think that cop he's talking about the cop who shot Sonya Massey, the gal with the hot water.
Yeah.
Lead us in prayer right now, Hake.
What's that?
No, I'm just reading the chat. Somebody says, lead us in prayer right now, Hake. So you think that this cop was on roids and he had roid rage and he was already a hot-headed narcissist?
He's been getting away with that for a long time, okay, that kind of behavior, and it finally caught up to him, and that's usually what happens to those type of people. You know, they're not all narcissists are not, you know, killers like that guy, but they're robbers, or, you know, eventually they get caught, okay? And he busted himself. He let his temper get away from him. He had no right to pull that gun out and shoot her in the face, man. Okay, and that woman that called up and stood by him, I know those kind of women too, man.
Bethany, who said it was justified. Bethany is 30 minutes outside of the you seem to be going overboard, though, respectfully, David. You sound almost as bad as Joe from Phoenix on this issue.
Well, no.
You're not even praying for the cop. Go ahead.
Joe from Phoenix wants to vote for a plagiarist.
No. I don't want to go into Joe from Phoenix. Let's stay on topic. I'm just saying that you're not praying for him. Just like, go ahead,
Dave. Well, I agree with your take as far as like him. I don't know if he's guilty, so to speak, but like he didn't do the. I'm talking about in the court of law, but. My point is that I agree with you, but I don't hold the same anger that you have. And I think maybe that's what Hake is pointing out. Like, why are you angry at him?
I think it's because I'm very protective over women, and I don't put up with men like that around women. That's why I quit going to parties years ago. You know, a guy starts running his mouth, starts using the D word in front of a woman and stuff. I'll square him right up, okay? And I think it's because I'm so protective of women because my mother was real young when she had me, and it made me. And I had 4 sisters, so I'm very, very protective over women, and I think that's why I'm pissed off at the guy.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
and here, like, and was your father in your life?
I had 3 stepfathers. Yeah, the third one.
So
raised
what
me
about
from
your
the
real?
time I
Did
was
you know your
9.
real father?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he wasn't
was a
really in your
Vietnam
life?
veteran. Huh?
He wasn't really in your life, your real father?
No. I my family lived in Atlanta, and I would, they put me on a plane at 6 years old and fly me up there, 7 years old, fly me up to Atlanta. I mean, can you imagine flying into Atlanta at night at 7 years old all by yourself, looking out the window?
Interesting.
Yeah, thinking if your father's going to be there. So yeah, I got, but I'm over. I'm okay, but I understand where you're coming from. I had a lot of women in my life, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm very protective.
And you're
over
kind of
my wife.
anti-man. You were about to say one of your stepfathers R-worded somebody.
No, I didn't.
Oh, what did you? It sounded like you said the R word.
No, I said I'm over. Over that. The stepfathers in my life.
Because they were beating up. One of them beat up your mother, and you had a knife on him.
Yeah.
And you cussed at him.
Right. Yeah, I pulled a knife on him at 7 years old to get him off my mother, and I know that's why I'm the way I am.
Yeah, you want to get past that, man, because it's like you said, you stopped going to parties over it because you didn't want to end up hurting somebody or yourself, and getting in trouble with the law or something.
Well, I just didn't want to put myself in a position like that again.
Yeah, but you want to get past this spiritually, so doesn't move you, and you're not. And then you can judge with a fair mind, not with a passionate mind. Because you're judging this poor bully cop, and you won't even pray for him.
Yeah, you could at least pray for him.
What's that?
You're a Christian.
It's in terms of like your anger, like there's something that's angering you, and you hit the nail on the head. I think it's that you were mainly raised by women, so you deal with things the way women do.
No,
like it's just natural that's going to happen.
Women. I just am very I had 4 sisters, so I'm protective over my wife, man. I told Hake before, if one of those kids, remember when they were coming up with that white thing where they want you to bow down and on your knees in front of black
right
people?
Yes.
Yeah, I told them that if they came up to me and my wife and asked us to do that, I'd punch the guy right in the face.
See, that's a great. That's that. You're kind of identifying with sort of the same as the blacks who are identifying with their mothers and all jumping to violence.
No.
Yeah, propensity to violence,
listen,
sir.
Yeah.
I got a violent streak in me. And here's the problem with the world right now.
We all do.
Nobody's stopping this junk, okay? Like I told you before, the kids going into stores and stealing.
Right.
And y'all will realize when you get older like me, when you get up in your 50s and stuff and your friends start dying, you're like, screw this, I ain't putting up with this junk no more. I'm going to do something about it.
No, this is not the right spirit, man. You're going to, get yourself killed before time.
David, I totally respect because it's an obligation that men have, that we protect women, we protect children. I totally respect that. However, there's a certain way that men are supposed to do that. And I think you're letting women's, for instance, a guy comes up and says something disrespectful to a woman. You're letting a woman's decision or a woman's reaction fuel how you react. So you're like, because she got offended, I'm gonna punch that guy in the face. You're not actually offended by it.
I warn them. I go, hey, okay. And if they come back with some more, it's just like I talked to Hake before. If somebody comes up and gets in my face,
yeah,
and they start threatening me, okay, I consider that an act of war. I don't say, oh, I don't want any trouble.
But you're presenting a false dilemma in which you either be like, oh, I don't want any trouble, like a little wussy. Sorry, kids, don't say that word.
Right.
Or versus getting all hot-headed and punching a guy in the face. And there's the Jesus way, a righteous strength and man of peace way where you can
Right.
handle yourself, and,
What
and you clearly know you're doing it wrong.
His kind of, it sounds like David is more going off of like ego. Like it's like, because
Yeah.
he hurt your ego of making you look like
No,
a
no,
coward.
it's more like
so you
this.
won't.
Exactly. Because
It's
that's why
like
his
this.
mind goes there.
I know, but watch this.
You're afraid of being a wimp.
No, this is the way I look at it, okay? I judge this. God didn't have David go out and talk to Goliath and say, hey, can we work this out?
Mhm.
No, he had him put a rock in his forehead and kill him. So that's the difference when you get older. You start thinking sort of like that because you get sick of all this. Look how all this.
And so you think that your sickness, you think your short fuse and your impatience and your judgment is godly?
Well, because I give them a break. I don't.
No.
jump
Do you
right
think
in
your
on 'em, but
impatience? Do you think your impatience and emotion and hot-temperedness is godly?
Maybe not so much.
See? So then don't be comparing yourself to David and Goliath.
No, I'm
Yeah, let's say-
using an example. Here's another
It's not a good
one.
example.
I'm sure.
God
I'm sure
didn't forgive
David
the
would
devil.
have still prayed for Goliath.
Yeah, David's praying for
No,
Goliath
I
to this
Would
day.
at least pray for Goliath. That's
Anyway.
what we're getting
Yeah,
at. You should have it in your heart to at least pray for somebody. Like that's never something you should hold back, because you're using it as almost like,
know.
I'm going to punish you. I'm not going to pray for you.
You're right. What the problem is, the reason why I don't want to pray for him is because I know he's in the wrong, and I know that what the road that got him to where he's at. He's the guy that needs to repent. He's the guy that needs
Yes.
to turn. I can't do nothing for him. Okay.
You
think my
you
one
pray-
little prayer is going to make a difference? Oh, God's going to say, "Oh, well, David said a prayer for the
Ah,
God."
now you're,
Go
now you're
ahead.
thinking like an atheist, man. You're thinking like a liberal.
I know.
Like, oh, my one little
the,
prayer is
the
enough.
point is
I'm way
that
far from that.
the point is you're cursing him, not praying
No,
for
I'm
him.
not.
You-
He
you
cursed
should pray that he
himself.
finds
No,
those
I know,
Got
but you
out,
cursed
shot her.
him. You're in your heart, you're cursing him. Like by cursing, I'm saying in your heart you have no love for him. You're judging him.
Because I know people like him. He deserves everything that happens to
I know,
him.
but you're emotionally.
Everything that happens to him, he deserves it.
You're not paying attention to yourself though. You're just sitting in judgment on him. Meanwhile, you're this angry, vicious person.
Well, maybe when you get a little older, you might think, you know what? David sort of had a point there, because this is just getting worse. I mean, how much longer your generation, you people, y'all's age group and younger, gonna put up with this junk? They're trying to jam a black woman into the presidency. They're supposed to be all about democracy, and they put her in there. Can't you see that? Nobody voted for her.
You're preaching to the choir, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I know,
We
just
do this
tell
on
you.
it.
That's
We
why
do
I'm
this
angry.
professionally.
I got to
What's
run.
that?
Nice talking
All
with
right,
you,
hey,
David.
Take it easy. Hey, I really appreciate it. And Crishaun the Don, you know where I'm coming from. You met those people. Tell Hake that you know those kind of people like that cop. Okay.
Oh,
All right, I'll see you
absolutely.
later.
I'm not against that exists. But
Yeah, but
I'm
he's
just
he's
saying
not
we're
emotional
making-
like you are.
We're reading a
know,
lot of
I know.
minds on this.
Yeah,
and-
you're being a
yeah.
beta about it, David.
No, I'm
thinking you're an
far
alpha.
from a beta.
No,
I'm
you're
far
a
from
full-blown
being a
beta.
Yeah. Okay.
Super
All right, I'll
beta.
see you. All right.
All right,
bye-bye.
take care. Bye. What a mess. All right.
Hey, I pray for David.
Indeed. Yeah.
Pray for David, guys.
Pray for everybody.
Absolutely.
Mark in Los Angeles, California, on the line here. Mark, thank you for calling and holding there, man. You're live with Crishaun the Don.
Yes, sir. Happy White History Month, everybody.
Happy White History Month.
Hello, Mark.
Hi. I got a couple things. First of all, on the woman, Sonya Massey, you notice how they're showing a young picture of her when they show her face? And they don't show her for the old witch she was when the officer justifiably shot her? That's the media. That's the Operation Mockingbird media.
They do show like nice pictures of people with their cap and gown.
Yeah, but Mark, why are you so angry at her? Why are you calling her a witch and like being insulting?
Because she was going
Is
to
that
throw
necessary?
hot water on the cop. I heard what you said, and I definitely agree with 99% of everything I've heard you say, but not on this one. If it was you, cop or not a cop, and some witch like that was going to burn you with hot water, you wouldn't shoot her?
I take a step back.
No, that's not an answer.
No, I wouldn't
Would
shoot
you
her.
shoot her?
Mark. No.
Okay,
Absolutely
I would.
not.
If somebody threatens me with hot water or even goes for that, and you know she's a little psycho to begin with, and first of all, she called the cops to come there.
Mark.
They didn't come on their own. They would have rather left her alone, I think. But
Mark,
this
I think
white man should not spend one day in jail. Not one day. Well, I
Mark,
think Derek Chauvin should be
Wait.
released
He asked.
immediately.
Let's get back to a question that he asked you.
Oh,
Why
okay.
are you so angry and vicious at this woman?
Because I'm sick of seeing another white man bite the friggin' dust. Over nothing, man. Over nothing.
You sound like
Over
David.
nothing?
You sound like David, just the opposite end.
Mark, you're saying that it's not even debatable.
Well, let me put it this way. If I'm on a jury, he's walking.
Right, but how about since you're not on a jury and you're just talking amongst friends, because we are your friends.
Oh, definitely.
Is it debatable? Was it questionable what he did? Because I found it might have been questionable. I mean, it's like you can call it questionable.
Okay, you can call it questionable, but you got to come up with a verdict.
Right, but is it debatable? Because Crishaun finds it quite highly debatable whether this is. I don't even think Crishaun thinks that it's at all justified to shoot the gal, even with her throwing the hot water.
Well,
And honestly, I don't think Mark is looking at this from a unbiased standpoint, because he already admitted that it's based on race for him.
Yeah, it's based on other. He's sick of these other attacks on the cops, on the whites.
Things that have nothing to do with
Or the
this
blacks.
specific case. Like Derek Chauvin and this are not comparable.
Well, okay, let me just put it this way. In both cases, if the officer was not a white man, we would have never heard of either Derek Chauvin or Officer, what's his name, Gaylord?
I
We
forget.
wouldn't have heard of, pardon?
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have heard of these men.
Yeah,
if they
national
didn't have
story,
white skin.
international story.
So you're angry about the media. You're not angry about the woman.
Yeah, you're calling
It's
her
the
a
media
witch.
you're mad at. Yeah.
You're calling her a witch, and
hot water.
Misdirected anger.
She was, to me, you just call her off. She was off. I don't know if you call her a
Off people
witch.
can be deadly. You know, if you're off, you can
yeah,
be deadly.
I'm with you.
And I wouldn't minimize
Not always,
boiling
though.
hot water as something less than deadly. Okay, I have a bad heart. Somebody throws boiling hot water on me, I'll probably die of a heart attack.
Yeah, but you have a bad heart. so
Don't
you
share
probably
your
wouldn't be a
weaknesses
cop.
on. Don't dox your weaknesses, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but Mark,
I'm trying to give an example.
Yeah.
Mark,
know,
you having a bad heart wouldn't qualify you as a cop, though. So that's
I
probably
understand that. But what I'm getting at is you're downplaying the significance of boiling hot water and
No.
what it can do to a human being.
what I'm saying is you're overselling it. I'm not downplaying it. You're overselling it.
Okay, then answer my question. Whether you're a civilian or a policeman, if somebody like her had boiling hot water, and she's attempting, if you feel she's attempting to throw it on you, what you're going to tell me? All you're going to do is step back.
The cops had no legal obligation to do anything in that situation.
If she
Like
has
they could have
hot
just
water that
literally
she's
just
going to
left.
throw-
What I'm saying is there's no reason for them to even breach the kitchen or do anything like that. Like there's no
Well, she
crime being
called her.
committed. But the whole thing was done. The call was over with. Everything was over with.
Yeah,
there was nothing else.
I wish they hadn't
do.
had to go in there. Then
They should
that
have just left.
Yeah, what a shame.
Well, I just think they're setting this poor officer up to show that they got the power now, and the blacks, I mean. And the message is, white cops, stay away. That's what this whole thing is. Now, I have a question here.
real fast, because I'm running out of time. Go ahead.
Do you, Crishaun the Don, I want to ask you this. Do you believe this statement? The U.S. Constitution was written by white men for white men.
No, because it doesn't specifically say white men. And I don't think white people identified with the white identity like that, the white racial identity like that back
Well,
then.
if I could say this, at the
I
time
think this is
the
a new thing.
Constitution was, at the time the Constitution was written, Indians were on reservations, Negroes were 3/5 of a man, The Brits got kicked out of here. I know they're white, but we got rid of them, and we established a white nation written in a constitution by white men. So how could it not be true that the Constitution, we know it was written
because
by
it says
men.
all men are created equal, not white men are
And the
created
man who wrote
higher
that,
than.
Thomas Jefferson, had slaves.
Okay, then
Thomas
why didn't he?
Jefferson
Why
wrote
didn't he
we're all
write?
equal.
So why didn't he write white men are higher than all other men?
Because it was obvious. It didn't need to be stated. It
All
didn't
right,
need
that's
to be stated.
that's ridiculous.
No,
That's
I think
ridiculous.
that it's fair because I don't think that they're thinking, oh, we're going to have this diverse country. I think it's kind
Yeah,
of
but wait a minute. Let
implied
me
in
ask
making
you,
a
John,
nation that it's for
if he
you,
believes-
for
That's like
us and our
saying- that's-
posterity.
That's like saying that the right to bear arms meant that that could have possibly meant that we could wear sleeveless shirts. Do you get what I'm saying?
No,
like
that's-
it's obvious what it was written for, bro. Like you're trying to find some way around it. You're
No,
making
you-
up
I just
context that
told
doesn't
you-
exist.
Where
At the
did
time-
they have diverse countries before
No,
the
how does he
last
swear?
100 years?
That was the
No,
point
wait
of
a minute.
America.
Oh,
How
America
did he
Was to
wasn't
like
supposed
sort
to
of
be diverse.
have all men come here and be like, yeah, that's why we have like freedom of religion and free. It's not.
No, it was
It's, of
because
course, freedom to practice Christianity.
Right.
Of course, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Because Christianity was being what is it called, persecuted all over the world.
by fellow Christians.
Yeah,
So they
but it
wanted
didn't
a
say.
they wanted their kind of Christianity not to be persecuted by other Christians.
Then there was
How
a
do you-
flaw in what they wrote if they meant just Christianity and just whiteness. There's a flaw, and I think the
They
thing
had
is
no
that
idea that they were going to turn into Muslim atheists like Obama.
No, but you
there
guys
was
are
there was
skipping
plenty
the
there was
over.
plenty of different cultures here during slavery.
I know, but it
It's
was
like
it
there's
was like
French
90%
culture.
Slavery,
normal white,
And the Indians were on
But what is normal
reservations.
white? That didn't even exist back then.
but they
What
were
didn't exist?
of the same pretty much culture.
No, they weren't.
Okay, you still haven't
They were
answered the
way
question.
they were way more
Okay.
divided back then.
That's,
How
I
could
guess
Thomas Jefferson have believed in equality and written those words if he had black slaves? Explain that.
It's because you're buying into critical race
No,
theory,
no,
Mark.
explain
You're
that.
just going the other direction of it.
No, you're not explaining it.
What do you mean?
And then I got to
How do
run.
you explain? Okay, I'll make it quick. Thomas Jefferson wrote all men were created equal and he had slaves. Is he a hypocrite or is he a racist?
No, they're still
He's-
equal. They're just equal men, but they're still slaves because we have different
3/5.
roles.
3/5.
I don't think that Thomas
Constitution-
Jefferson knew or cared about the 3/5.
No,
but
the
maybe.
3/5 compromise was in the Constitution. So
Oh,
how
it
can you
was?
say it wasn't written for white men?
Oh, it
Because
was
they
in the
were
Constitution.
because it was the slave owners that wanted
I don't
slaves
care
to
who
be
it
kept.
was.
1787.
Hold on.
Oh,
Let me
All
make
right.
my point. It was
Okay.
slave owners that wanted the slaves to be counted as full human beings because they wanted voting power
Right.
in the country. So the people that were actually trying to free the slaves were arguing to make them 3/5.
Counted
So
for
your argument
counted for
doesn't-
population. It wasn't saying whether they were human or not. It's
Yeah.
dumb. Anyway, thank you,
Oh, no.
Mark in Los Angeles.
You guys were
I
wrong
agree-
about that.
No, I mean,
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Mark's a critical race theorist. That's crazy. You see where it takes you? I'm telling you, that white identity stuff is going to take you right down the same path as the Negroes. I'm warning you guys.
I argue that a nation is what a race used to be. A nation used to be a race, and so these different. It was a mess. Anyway, I can't get into it.
I get where you're going with that. It should be
Yeah.
the American race, right?
Right.
American race.
And then we
Anything could be a race, though. You can have a race of blue-eyed people, brown-eyed people. Hey, you're like a redhead, right? You're a
Yes.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a race. You're a gender. You would have been oppressed back in the day.
I don't have time for this. Otherwise, we would get into this.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And actually, I'm at a loss for where to go with it. Anyway, Mark is correct, says Glizzy Hendricks. King Glizzer says Hake is correct. A nation is a people. Yeah, I mean the cultures are so different. Anyway, we got to keep it
Nation is-
moving.
Let me just add this: it's a people who agree on like basic values.
Right. It's part of it is religion. Part of it
Sure,
is
yeah. Absolutely.
culture is like cult religion, and we have this diversity stuff has been very destructive. because it's just gone too artificial and too far, and I don't know, it's a mess.
Yeah.
I have some super chats to get to, I have calls to get to, and I have only 10 minutes to get to them. So over on Rumble, some Rumble rants for Crishaun the Don, white PDF files, you know,
Yes.
if you know what I'm talking about. Because Trump is going to make it illegal again. Harris celebrates them. Oh, so she's saying the white dudes for Trump are white. I disavow this, Don.
I'll say this. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's the only way.
It's a mess. Yeah. People are degenerate, and it's they're embracing it. The mama spirit embraces that. Dawn also with another one says, someone in chat nailed it. She could have blinded the cop with the hot water, the boiling water, and then stole the gun and shot him and killed him. Have you considered that?
Yeah, she could have also jumped onto a vine and swung out. Like, you can make up anything and to make it worse. That's what liberals do. That's why liberals, I think, are pointing out that she's mentally ill when you brought up CNN earlier.
Right.
It's because they think that makes the story worse. Cop kills black mentally ill woman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
to,
mentally ill people aren't necessarily violent. It's that angry people are violent. Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, because the way I read it was, see, she was off. She's acting erratic. Mentally ill people, oftentimes, they act erratic.
No, because CNN is always trying to take up for the black victim. So
Okay.
I think that's why they added that.
See, I took it as a point in favor of the cop. They meant it as against the cop. Interesting.
It's almost like when a cop kills somebody and they're like, a black man killed 3 days before his birthday.
Right.
It's like that for some reason they think that makes it like more sad. It humanizes it a little bit more.
True.
So it's a media technique.
Black Rose bought a coffee. No message. Thank you. Deus Intra bought a coffee. Many people from many walks of life like salt and vinegar chips. And that was not for today, but Deus Intra, I missed your super chat yesterday. Salt and vinegar chips have grown on me. My mother used to like them. I hated them. But anyway. Esoteric says, hey, Hake, voting these days is so stupid. The Republic checks and balances on voting has been eroded away to give me that mob rule democracy. I'm with you. We'll never get a good candidate again. We're constantly stuck between big government redistribution, DNC, and big government foreign country sellouts, GOP. Oh, and have you watched any of those civil rights lawyers' channels on YouTube exposing this corruption of the unionized government-employed police officers? Joel wouldn't plant a burner weapon or contraband. That's why they never looked over him. Joel Friday tried to become a cop and LAPD, and he was rejected for being too fair, too by the book. Too independent thinker.
Yeah.
Popcorn's Thump Keg says, leave it to Mark to highlight a white supremacist on your show. I could tell by how gleeful he was to bring the guy's name to your attention yesterday that the guy was going to be exactly who he was. A few web searches later, and sure enough, I went, oof, thoughts? Yeah, I noticed that too. They called him yesterday, Mark from Los Angeles gave me the name of this guy, and I looked it up him in Wikipedia. They say, oh, you're a white supremacist. It amazes me that you try to reprimand Joe for the things he says and wear the snake puppet when he talks, but how many times have you had to stop Joe in his tracks because he says something to put your show at risk? Now contrast that with how many times it's happened with Mark. Mark has the nerve to suggest banning Joe. Unbelievable. Thank you, Popcorn's Thump Keg. I say they're two peas in a pod, but Mark is not kosher. He has to censor himself. And Joe can say whatever he wants because the establishment is on his side. I think that was highlighted on today's show. Anyway, thank you guys for the support. Man, Crishaun the Don, it's been fun talking with you. I wanted to get to Craig out of Illinois. I wanted to talk about Sonya Massey. Jaime in Minnesota, Sonya Massey comment. William in California, about the bodily harm that can come from boiling water. Hayden in Arizona wanted to talk about schizophrenia. Many other callers, the lines are full, wanted to talk to you. Some of them dropped. Let's close this out, Crishaun the Don. What do you say?
Well, hey, if anybody wants to call into my show, we're gonna do a live stream on Friday night over at Misfit Nation. So if you want to call in, I'll open up the lines. If you guys want to talk about this, we could do that. So yeah, it's Misfit Nation, pretty much every social media platform, Misfit Nation, at the Misfit Nation, or you can follow me on X at Crishaun the Don. Hake, thank you so much for having me on. Like I always say, I'm legitimately trying to warn everybody as far as this racial identity thing. I think it's really important that we understand what we're doing. And I just noticed it early on. And I think there's a lot of right wingers that are afraid to talk about that. So I just want to be the one to do it, because never been afraid to talk about any of those things. But hey, happy White History Month still, even though I don't buy into the whiteness. You made me one of the heroes. I'll accept it.
Nice.
I'll accept it.
Right
I
on.
appreciate you.
That's true. I did. Crishaun the Don, a white history hero. He made a great point. You made a great point with the lack of anger. Just be objective, and without that anger, even if you have the wrong ideas at first about different things, then you're protected still, because then you have like love, and you're not gonna be overly vicious for the cop or overly vicious against the woman, and you're not gonna attract trouble into your life as much. Even if you're a pro-white, without that anger, you're gonna be more cool-headed, and that's wiser for sure.
And you're going to be more unbiased to to identities.
Right.
That's going to make certain people we've heard call in today, that you hear it's more just whiteness they're protecting than it is the actual situation.
Yeah, you should put what's right above everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sin is defined as not doing what's right.
Yeah.
So it's not just breaking commandments. It's just not standing up for what's right. So that's where I've always stood. I always stood up for what's right. I mean, I came on your show and talked about Kanye. I won't toot my own horn, but I was kind of right about that.
He was off. He's off. Don't give him hot water.
He's erratic.
Yeah. Poor Kanye. We're still praying for him. We're pulling,
of course,
chin up king. he's
a
mess.
Should never not pray for somebody. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everybody's worthy of prayer. Come on.
Right. And there is time for manliness and toughness, but I think that what some of my callers, David and Ocala, it's not manly. What he's thinking is not manly. It's not godly. It's not even strong. So we got to get past that. Anyway, it's been great talking with you, man. Thanks again for coming on the show. And thank you guys for coming on. Let me schedule Joel Friday. He is coming on next. I guess I'll go to here. Thanks again, Crishaun the Don.
Thank you.
You can chime in. I'll just take you off screen if
okay,
I'm
I'll stay on.
Okay, whatever. Okay, we'll keep it. But let me put Joel Friday on. He's gonna be coming on next. Joel Friday TV, and then
Joel
we will.
Friday, my favorite black podcaster.
Jumpy Cops and Silly Crooks is the name of his podcast coming up next. Say again, what did you say about Joel Friday?
Said he's my favorite black podcaster.
Nice. He's 30% white, did you know?
Is he really?
Yeah. Creole. Okay.
That could be Haitian, no?
I know, huh? Don't call him Haitian.
Oh, he doesn't like that, huh?
I'm not sure. Anyway, okay. Let's see what I can do here. What song do I want to play? A short song, I think.
Can we play the monkey song? I love that.
Oh, okay. I can find it, if I can find it. Ain't no monkeys in my family tree. Let's hear it. Okay. It's coming. Whoa.
Some of our schools, they tell us that God didn't make the world in 7 days. They want us to believe that we evolved from the apes. Well, I don't know.
Let's start it over.
Well, there's monkeys in the jungle, there's monkeys in the zoo. They even got monkeys in some of our schools. They tell us that God didn't make the world in 7 days. They want us to believe that we evolved from the apes. tree. The monkeys in the vines, and you'll see them up in trees. You can even see them right there on the TV. They claim that Jonah never lived in the belly of a whale, that our ancestors walked around dragging their tails. I don't know about them, but I know about me. There ain't no monkeys in my family tree. When you see some monkeys, they look kinda cute, but not when they're wearing a tie and a suit. Big book of lines and a fancy degree, trying to make a monkey out of me. No, no, no!
Thank you, guys.
Some monkeys are honest and some monkeys are crooks. Some of those monkeys even write dishonest monkey books. They'll say that Jesus' miracles never did occur, and that our ancestors were covered in fur. I don't know about them, but I know about me, and there ain't no monkeys in my family tree. No, there ain't no monkeys in my family tree.
Adios, America. Joel Friday coming up next. Bye.